Now that we're here on the lift, we can get up under it and see what all we got to do.
Hey, has this truck got duals on it?
Nah, it's single all the way out the back. Oh no, it's got duals at the back.
No, his doesn't.
Oh yeah, his has duals on it. His goes from a single outlet to a dual. Looks pretty good under here for the most part, I guess. I guess I'm gonna start down here and get everything down here. Look at this shit.
Let's hold the motor down.
That motherfucker is holding the motor in. You know what? I understand now why I couldn't figure out that motor mount. And this one over here looked so good. Upon test fire ups, we couldn't figure out why it wasn't pumping gas. I wonder why. Got all AC lines undone. Must be a fucking Dodge. It come on over that time. There it comes. Hold on, I'll grab a side.
I think the cap's hitting it.
Cap ain't hitting yet.
You can't.
Oh.
Alright, I'm washing my hands.
Yeah, go drag the truck back. Hold on. I hope to one day trust humanity as much as I do that one screwdriver right there. At least it's a Craftsman. It's got that going for it. Let's get this on the ground. We're gonna do a little bit of sweeping, get that motor put over here and get the transmission took off of it. So as far as pulling the motor out goes, I unbolted the AC lines. The wiring harness was just cut because it mostly had these splicers in it where he had already cut it and spliced it back together. We're gonna fix all that. Just took the fan off of the front so that way it could clear the AC condenser. I still gotta figure out what kind of intake this is. After I set it on the ground, I gotta unbolt the transmission, pull it out, and take that flywheel off so I can see the rear main. It might be worth noting I've already let the oil out of this. It's my wife. I started off underneath the truck. You already saw that part. And then the drive shaft, the coolant lines, and got all that ready to go. The speedometer, etc. As you can see, the coolant lines were already undone. I undone the power steering pump as well. So I'll move this over here and get the transmission off of it and get the flywheel off of it and get it set back down. We're gonna wash the motor off and see what it looks like. And if that 4-speed won't bolt up to it, we're gonna have to build something like that. For those of you that don't know, that's an adapter plate for a C50 from a 366 to a 350 Chevrolet. Or that's what it come off of anyway. I believe it had a Ford transmission in it, and that was the reason they had to make the adapter plate for the bell housing. So we may end up doing the same thing similar here, but it's not Ford transmission. It'll be Dodge to Dodge, 318 to inline 6. So as you can see, we had to pull out the skid steer to get the truck drive back because it's got 3 flat tires, but we ended up getting it out. So now that we got that out, the work can continue. It also might be worth mentioning at 552, it only took me about 45 minutes or less to get this motor out. Granted, I didn't take off no more than I had to, and it being an older truck, you can do them like that. So we're gonna undo the 9/16 bolts on the back of it in. If you didn't drop your starter already, now's a good time to do it when you can get right to it. Once your starter's off, you're just gonna He-Man it back. Grab your tail stop like this and just wiggle and just like that. It should fall right off. Then we're gonna take torque converter off, flywheel off, and then we can clean up the motor and be waiting until Tuesday. But right now I got other things I gotta go do, so I'm gonna let this sit. So when this video recuts, it might be dark outside. We'll see. Once you take your torque converter off, be sure to lay it face up because there's no hole on the back side of it in case it's full of fluid. So it's got on the back side of it. So in this case, I'm gonna plop it down right there. And as we can see, 10/24/13 was when it was last installed. And once you undo the 3/4 bolts out of here, you should be able to wiggle this off like that. We're going to go ahead and start these bolts back in there, so that way whenever I get the other flywheel, I'll have them. While I'm down here, now would be a good note to make that if there's any problems with the oil pan, as you can see, the gaskets back here have been slipping. That's a little rubber gasket. It's either that or a lot of silicone. I'm gonna have to clean that off and see exactly what it is when I get it cleaned up. Now, if you want to, you can take this and put it on the back of that, so that way you don't lose it. Because remember, it's gonna be going back with this transmission. This transmission ain't no good, so I don't know if he wants to rebuild it or if he's gonna sell it as a core or what, because we're putting the 4-speed out of the other truck in here. We dropped this motor in, so we're just gonna have to see how it goes. So one of the things that I actually found that was wrong with this was trying to put these in. You know, you have to spin this till it fits a certain way. Well, I noticed that it was missing a bolt. And upon further inspection, I noticed that there was actually a piece of bolt broke off in there. So I'm just gonna leave this like that and get some of my mess up. And yeah, I guess that concludes part 1.
And this spring went there and I was alright.
Got it on the motor stand, ended up taking the exhaust off to do it. So, and it's dark now, it's like almost 10 o'clock at night. So got everything out the donor truck I'm gonna need for now. So I'll start taking off the front of the motor and then I'll probably call it a night. It looks like that does it for part 1. Part 2 later. All right, this is 1080p at 60 frames. I do have a crack in my camera. You're gonna have to forgive me on that. So to get started with, we're gonna leave this Dodge intact for now. It runs, it drives. I'm actually probably gonna back it up a little bit. We're gonna get started on this truck right here. So basically what I wanna do is anything that's connected to the motor, I wanna get it off, connecting it to the body. I'm probably gonna take this front off here. I'll take the core support out, get that condenser out of the way. That way I can really just take a good look at the front of the motor, since we're not gonna be reusing any of this anyway. Most of this is just grill damage. But like I said in the other 2 videos, I'm gonna be matting this transmission. I'm gonna be not using this transmission. I'm gonna be matting the transmission out of this truck into this truck. And it looks like there's pretty much no difference in the saddles other than the motor mount type. I do have to figure out what kind of intake this is, so that way I can order the right intake gaskets and have all that done for when I put the 4-barrel intake on there. So stay tuned. Right now we're gonna get this front off and see what we gotta go from there.